Hey everyone, welcome to the Honda HRX217 and the Masport Rotarola comparison. I'm not going to get into every single detail of both units. I've had this for 2.5 years, maybe now, maybe 3, 2.5 to 3 years. This came in the middle of May, so just a little over a month I've had the Honda. Had this much longer. So far, I like this machine. I've liked this machine. There's a couple of differences. In order to, we'll go through basically fueling up. This gas cap, much nicer than the Masport. This is a nice big, it's a nice big open, bring you in a little bit here. It's a nice big wide mouth on there. This one's okay. It's not like it's super narrow, but it's much narrower. It's a little harder to put on. It's not impossible, but you just gotta find it, and then it turns and stops. This one is more like a car. It clicks. You can turn it as tight as you want, and it clicks. So that's the main difference, right? First thing you do is fuel them up. So that's the big difference. Click, it's very nice, big and easy. This can be a pain. It's not like it's impossible, it has been a pain once in a while. Not that you can't open it. It's just a quarter, what is it? I don't even know actually. It's a quarter turn, which is actually quite nice, but I just don't particularly care for it. I don't know why. To get to the oil on the Honda, oil on the Masport. Briggs, Honda. I've had no issues with this motor. This is a 190, this is a 200. As far as power, I haven't had really any issues with either one so far. I've cut some tall grass with both of them. I haven't had an issue. A height adjustment, height of cut, however you want to call it. The Honda is fairly easy. You do have to adjust all 4 tires separately, but they go in 1/2 inch increments from 1 inch up to 4 inch. It would kind of be nice if you could get in a 1/4 inch, because you go from 2.5 to 3, and sometimes at 2 3/4 or the 3 1/4 is just the magic number that you need, as opposed to going from 3 to 3.5. But they move super easy. Grab the tab, pull it over, put it where you want. They do move really easy. Out of any mower that I've had that's had 4-wheel adjustments, by far the easiest. The back ones are too. You just pick up, take a little weight off, they move super easy. Now in 3 years, will they move that easy? I don't know. Height of cut over here. I should have had my information, but I believe it goes from 3/4 of an inch to 2.5. So that goes to 4. This only goes to 2.5 or 2 3/4. I'll put it on the screen right here. Maybe, you know me, sometimes I don't do that, but I think it goes from 3/4 to 2 3/4. Both heights of cut are accurate, by the way. I have measured them. They're within 1/16 of an inch on these 2 units. I'm not saying all Hondas are that way. I'm not saying all Masports are that way, but these 2 are. This height of cut, this lever right here, it moves everything. So you just grab the lever. I always just grab the handle here, take a little bit of weight off, all the way down, back up. It's got slotted adjustments here. We bring you in. Again, the Honda there, 1/2 inch adjustments, real easy to move, but you do have to do all 4. The Rotarola, you don't have to do all 4, you just move that handle and it does everything for you. The height of cut, again, as I stated before, it's accurate on both. If you guys watched my original video on this, you know the very first pull, when I went to start this machine, 1 pull out of the box, fired right up, just like that. That's nice. This thing always starts easy. Once in a while, I gotta pull this thing 3 times or so. It's usually when it's been sitting for a while. Sometimes I pull it 5 or 6 times, and then I'm like, oops, I gotta pull this in. So we're gonna go through the starting procedures on the Honda first. There's the throttle here, which you go from stop, slow to fast. You move it up to fast. You don't have to squeeze anything. I always just grab my hand here to brace it, grab the cord. That was high idle, low idle, off, or throttle. That hasn't been run in 2 days. I think this is 3, so a little bit of an unfair comparison. But what you have to remember on this, here's your throttle control, it's incremental. Where this is just 2, you have slow and fast. This is, you can kind of, there's settings in there, but you can pretty much put it wherever you want, but it does slide into little grooves. Full throttle. To start it though, you gotta pull this handle back, or you'll be pulling. So this is an engine stop. It's a safety. I don't particularly care for it. I much prefer that, which we'll get into in a little bit, but this is just starting procedures. So start, pull that. Turn it off, you have to let go of the handle. This is basically your on and off. So I much prefer the Hondas compared to the Masports on that. I don't know if you noticed also, as soon as we fired it up, blades are turning on this. Let's look at the Honda. No blade turning. So I'm not going to fire it up because you're not going to be able to hear me talk, but in order to get the blades to turn on this, you start it. You have to push this yellow button down right here. Yellow button down, push that forward, blade is engaged. Then you don't need to hold that down, it stays down, so you can do whatever you want. So that engages the blade, otherwise the blade does not turn. You let that off, motor stays running. We'll demo this, but motor stays running. Blade stops turning though. You can do the cruise control or the self-propelled without the blade. You push, there's 2 handles here. I'll bring you back to check this out. I'll actually bring you back now as long as we're doing it. So there's 2 handles here. If you just push this forward without pushing down the yellow blade control button, the blade does not start. Doesn't do anything. It just doesn't literally do anything. So then you can push this forward and you have self-propelled. You can move your mower up the hill without mowing or whatever you want. So again, to mow, push the yellow button down, push forward. It's super easy. It really is really easy. It looks like it might be difficult. When I first got it, I was able to figure it out without reading the instructions, but I was like, what in the world? Then this is your self-propelled. So you don't want self-propelled, you let that go and you mow. It's got a nice cutout here. See that handle? The clutch handle. So you can have your hands over here and it doesn't, your wrist or whatever, if you don't have that on, your arms go right in there and it doesn't affect your wrist or your forearms or anything like that. So it's super easy. They're not very difficult. It's got the spring here. I don't think there's any adjustment. There might be, I don't know. You'd have to read the manual, but super easy. Blade, self-propelled. A lot of times I do this. So that's nice and easy. Let's roll over to the Motorola. I call it the Motorola, the Rotarola. Let's move over to the Rotarola. It's habit. I don't know why I do it, but I do it and I do it a lot. Call it the Motorola. So again, throttle up. Gotta pull this in or it's not gonna start. Start, you're mowing. You don't have to do anything. Don't have to push the button, slide it forward, nothing. You're mowing right now. Self-propelled, you push. And again, it's not a speed or a personal pace. It's engaged. That's it. So, not mowing. Mowing. Actually, let me rephrase that. You throttle up, grab a handle to start it, pull, you're running. You cannot let this go. As soon as you let this handle go, motor stops. As soon as you let that go. Self-propelled, this. The only issue I have with the self-propelled, the speed of it, I don't know if it's a learning, but it works pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. If you want to go fast with it, it'll go fast. If you want to go slow, it'll go slow, but it's just engaged. I believe it's belt driven, so maybe you can, I don't know. I can't explain it. You really have to try it out. It works good. The self-propelled, it works really good. And it turns the back drum. We'll get to that. We'll show you the underside because there is no tires in the rear on the Masport Rotarola. It's a drum. But again, you let that go, self-propelled stops, you're still mowing. Now if you gotta go pick up a branch or do whatever and you let go of this, it kills the mower, turns it off. That's one thing I don't particularly like. I like that setup much better as far as the engine stop versus blade stop. Having the motor still running, if you could let go of this and have that motor still run without the blade engaged and your off was here, mucho gracias, mucho better, mucho better. It'd be much better. The other thing is when you're pushing uphill, and so you're downhill, you know, you're pushing uphill, if you're not using the self-propelled, your wrist, again, it's not the end of the world, it doesn't cut them, it doesn't bruise them, it's just uncomfortable. Your wrist hit that, so you're pushing uphill because you're lower, and you're going up the hill, your wrist hit this bar. I don't particularly care for that. But with this cutout, that doesn't happen. Now, if you put your arms here, that happens. But if you got them out here, that doesn't happen. And if you do it out here with this, because I know what you're thinking, well, why don't you just put your arms out here like this? When I do this, and it could just be the way I'm built, my wrist right here hit this bar. And it hurts more than this. But you could do this. When you're up pushing normal, you're fine. But as soon as you lean down, my wrist hit that. I know we talked about the motor. Again, had no power issues with the, it's a Briggs & Stratton Professional 190cc motor. Had no issues with the power with this. It's actually fairly quiet as well. The Honda GCV 200, I've had no power issues with that either. So what we're gonna quickly do is I'm gonna flip these mowers over and take you on the inside of them. Well, let's do this. So this is the underside of the Masport. As you can see, no rear wheels. It's got a drum. It's a metal drum right there that turns. It is not a dual blade, but it is a stepped blade. So then it goes up. This blade is not very sharp, although it's new and I did sharpen it, but it's lost its sharpness. It's not dinged up or anything. So you can see there's a little bit of grass buildup. This is kind of right where it builds up and then along the edge here. This usually stays pretty clean in there. So it does take a couple of scrapings a year to clean it out. I usually mow, when I mow it's sometimes damp, so I'm not gonna hold that against it. It's not bad at all. It's not bad at all. That is the buildup that usually happens. It's right around the lip and up here. You can see the belt here for the self-propelled. I don't even know where that goes back here, to be honest with you. Can't can't see it, so. Oh yeah, there it is right there. You probably can't see it. Maybe you can. Right there. So it comes back, goes up around there, and it must turn something back here. I don't know. I don't know how it works. But it works good. Self-propelled works good. Even with this steel drum, you would think that when you're on a hill with wet grass or something like that, this would just spin. It doesn't. It works good. Really good. I have no complaints with the self-propelled on the Masport at all. Okay, let's flip over the Honda. As long as we're mid-flip. Okay, so here's the Honda. I don't know if you guys can, there you go, you can kind of see in there. I just picked that out of there. This probably has just as much mowing on it this year, and this is obviously a brand new clean deck. I have not cleaned it besides what I just picked off of there. I did spray mow deck under here. I don't know if that helps or that just that plastic. This sun is killing me. I should move this to the shade. I don't know if you guys can see or not see. But this does have the microblade system, the two blades. They kind of need to be sharpened. They're not dinged up or anything, but they do need to be sharpened a little bit. So this is the mulch bag control. This door slides. The more you move it to mulch, the more it covers up this hole. If it was all the way on bag, this would be slid up to here, and all that would be open back to the bag. And if it was set on mulch, this would be all the way closed to up there. No side discharge on this unit at all. Same with the Masport, you can't get it. See the transmission there for the self-propelled, which you can't see on the Masport. I don't know what they got going on, top secret. That's the underside of the deck. It's very interesting with that fiber. I can't remember what viewer said it if you go back in the other video. It's a fiber reinforced plastic. You can see it's got some wear on it here already. It's usually when you're going around the edge of a yard, and if they got pavers or something. That's the underside. Pretty basic, pretty simple. Let's flip this back over. The other thing is the bagging. Let's talk about the bagging. Let's do the Honda first. So the bag's in there. That's it. That's all you need to do. Then you go to, do you want a mulch mower or do you want a bag mower? Just pull the handle back and you slide the door. Whatever way you want to go to. I think I gotta get in the shade, guys. I don't know if you can see anything here. Maybe you can. Hopefully you can see that. So I've been leaving it in the middle, pretty much. So I don't want to bag everything. This, you don't have that option. The bag's either connected or it's not. So that's where that's at. So to disconnect the bag, it's pretty simple on both. So to remove the bag, grab this little built-in handle here. This is plastic, door, lifts up super easy. Grab the handle, just lift, it's off. That's it. Now, I haven't done this, but you can mow like that for a rear discharge. Ish. You can put it all the way to mulch or all the way to bag. If you put it all the way to bag, all your clippings are gonna come out the back. If you leave it at mulch, there's gonna be no clippings that come out the back here. I have not done this, so I cannot tell you how it performs. Maybe I'll try that at some point, make a video on that, but I have not done it. So I cannot give you any input on that. But that's it, it's simple. I don't know if you guys can see in here. It's just big opening right here, that chute door. Hopefully you guys can see that is down back here. So that's it though. It's pretty simple. The bag holds a lot of grass. The only thing I don't like, and the Masport's the same way, you can't, my arms are not long enough. So you just gotta put it down and come back. Not that big of a deal. You do get grass buildup on the top up here. Just pick it up, clean it out. I throw it in the bag as I debag. Clippings and dirt and stuff build up there. But it's pretty easy to take on and off. Had absolutely zero issues with that. And again, if you don't want a rear discharge, you just change this to mulch and it shuts that door and nothing will come out this door. So that's it with this. Let's move over to the Masport. So the Masport bag, it's attached. To remove it, you grab this handle here, pull that up, that lifts up this door. As you can see, there's an opening here. Why that is, I guess I really don't know. Probably helps let air out, because that's not a tight seal. Grab the bag by the handle, up, pull back, set it down, re-pick it up, go move it. So it's pretty easy. It's got these two tabs that hook. I don't know if you can see that there. They hook in there, and then there's two metal tabs on the bottom. This one's actually bent, I see, which would explain why I've been having issues putting it in. But I shouldn't say issues, it's just you gotta do it like 2 or 3 times before it drops in. Well, that tab's bent, so I should fix that. This does have a hard plastic bottom. I don't know if that's a pro or a con. I don't know. I can't say it's a pro or a con. Hopefully you can see in here. So there's the chute. It's not adjustable or anything like that. It does have this hole here, which as you can see is full right now because I put a sponge in there, because that opens up to this whole area is empty and that fills up with debris. So I cleaned it out and I put a sponge in there so it doesn't fill up. I don't know if that's affecting something or not, but that's what I did. You can mow like this with that down. What I would say is I don't necessarily recommend that. And the reason I don't recommend that is because it does lead to clumping. I will put a caveat to that. I've had a clump when I do this, but if you're mowing 3 times a week, you're gonna have no problems. But if you get behind and the grass is tall, it does clump. Because what it does is it shoots all the grass back here anyways, and then it builds up, and then this stuff starts falling back in. They do make a plastic plug to slide in that hole, but not for this model. If you go to their website, and even in the manual for this, it shows a plastic plug. I contacted where I got this from, which is Horse Distributing, great company. And they contacted Masport. Masport said, no, there is not one for this particular model. So, because I wanted that, so I assumed that would stop the clumping. So if you have one that has that plug, or you can get that plug, that will help stop your clumping for sure. And then I have no experience with that, so I can't say that actually fixes it, but I would believe that it would. So, put the bag back on, super easy. Again, it'd be kind of nice if you get a bag, but you can't. Grab that handle, it's real easy. This is spring loaded, but put the tabs in on the bottom, lift that up, drop that door down, you're reattached. If you want to fold the handle for some odd reason, I don't know, transport, storage, whatever, this pops out on both sides, and then you can fold the handle over. The Honda is, I would say, just as easy. I would say there's no difference between the two. This gray knob, you give a quarter turn on both sides, handle folds over. So I would say that's about even. So far, they're both pretty even. What I will say is I definitely like the blade control over here versus the on mower running mower not running over here. Blade control, much nicer. Bagging, about the same. Power, 190, 200, about the same. Height adjustment, I'm going to give the edge to the Rotarola, the Masport, just because it's just that one lever, but these are pretty easy, so it's a slight edge. Adding gas, slight edge Honda. The self-propelled itself, I'll do a little video with it. This does have speed control. It's okay. You just can't quite, for me, I just can't quite find the happy medium usually. This one I seem to be able to, even though there's no speed control. I don't know why, I can't explain it. Maybe it's some sort of personal pace thing built into it. I have no idea. Like I said, I can't explain it. Weight-wise, for a plastic deck, this is heavy. I would say the weight's about the same. I will put the weight specs in right here, and now you know which one's heavier. I'm going to say they're about the same. We'll find out how close I am. Ease of starting, Honda. The fuel shut off. There's a sticker right here. It's right below that. Quarter turn, fuel shut off. There is no sticker, but it's right here. This one's red, that one's gray. Just both a quarter turn. I quite honestly thought there would be bigger differences between these two, and I didn't know which way, but they're relatively close on everything except for their mowing. The grass is long here. We're gonna fire this up and we're gonna mow just a little strip and see. We'll get down in there. This is not the best lawn. This is kind of the side that just doesn't get much, but we're gonna fire it up and mow a spot. We'll do a little self-propelled. Trying to think, maybe I'll have to compare the sizes of the gas tanks, but I think the Briggs I can mow longer with on the Masport. Now this does have 10 more cc, but I just don't know the size of the tank, so it's not really a fair comparison. I can mow longer with this. Well, it's twice the size of the tank. And I can't tell you how much longer. The other thing, let's get these side by side here. So side by side, I mean pretty close. Front tires to front tires. The length of it is about identical. I mean, let's just call it identical. Height of the handles, I have them both in the highest position because, well, I'm your average height person. So, or a little taller than average height, I guess. 6'2.5". So I do have them up in the highest position. I think this one has 2 more. You can lower this down 2 more. This, okay, there you go. This you cannot change. This height here is your height, which is the same height as the Honda all the way up. But this can go down 2 notches, so I would assume it'd bring it down, just looking at the angle, click, click, probably so it'd be down here. It would lower it a little bit if you're a little shorter. Again, that might be important for some people. It's not important for me because I need it all the way up. What else? What else do we have? Air cleaner. This has a square air cleaner in there. I have heard people complain about these tabs breaking off. Obviously that's not going to happen with this. Now, I guess what I will say is this is a commercial unit. It's even, you know, it's got the professional brakes on it. It's the Masport Rotarola. They do classify it as a commercial mower. This is a residential. So I honestly don't know if the commercial one on this has this type of filter or something different. So that might not be a fair comparison. I'll try to insert what the commercial one looks like. The reason I didn't go with the commercial one is I wanted that blade stop. I don't think the commercial has the blade stop, but it might. Don't quote me on that. But it only came with a 160 or a 170. I wanted the 200. I don't know why they wouldn't put the 200 in the commercial. I don't know. Don't know why. So that might not be a fair comparison because this is a residential model. This is a commercial. So what else, guys? What else? What else? I have not drained the oil from this one yet, but I have drained the oil from this one. Tipping it over to get the oil out with this back here was not the funnest to get it all out. It wasn't the end of the world, but it's like when you tip it over, it's, I don't know, it's just like in a weird spot. I think that Honda's will be easier. Just to say, this wasn't impossible by any means, but I think that will be easier with where it's located. Okay, gang, let's get down to business here, huh? Blades are as close as they're gonna get, which this is, again, 2.5. I can't go 1/4 inch because it only goes 1/2 inch increments, and I believe this is 2 3/4. Maybe I can go down 1 notch. Here, hang on. Hold the phones. Boy, they are so close. I'm gonna leave them right where they're at. I'm gonna call them as being close. So hopefully that's fair for the test. I'm gonna back both of these up. I don't have a drone and I can't show you overhead footage. So let's do the Masport first. We're gonna come out here. I hope my microphone's picking me up, guys. I know sometimes it doesn't. I've had so many issues with this new phone. Okay, let's get this back a little more, I believe. And take it back a little more. Okay, so here we go. Here is the full startup of the Masport Rotarola. Again, throttle up. This is a little stiff at the cable. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, it's not hard. Just compared to the Honda, it does move hard. But I'm not gonna classify it as a negative because it's not that hard. So to start it, if you don't pull this back, you're gonna be here pulling, pulling, pulling. So grab the handle, pull it back, pull, it's gonna fire. We're gonna do partial push. It does roll pretty easy. Then we'll move it into the self-propelled. So here we go. let go, pick up your branch, throw it in the woods, come back, throttle up, and start mowing again. Big downside. By far, that is the biggest difference between the Honda and this. By far. And you got to give it to the Honda over this, over the Masport in that category. Let's see. Now, I don't want to look at the blade quality, the cut quality, because they're not both sharpened, so it's not fair. But I don't see any, I'm down here, I don't see any stragglers. Now granted, I mowed over it several times. We'll do the same thing with the Honda. But I don't see any stragglers, I don't see anything. It's all mowed the same height. If you do look at the blades, I don't know if they come in there. Some are torn, some are cut pretty good. But I don't see any tall stragglers that it missed. Again, not very fair because I did go over it, what, 3-4 times? So, it mows good. That self-propelled, I cannot figure out. I don't know if you could hear me or not, but you could see me walking slow, it going slow. I walk a little faster, it goes faster. I go fast, it goes fast. I don't understand how it does that unless it's like there's a clutch in there with it and it allows it to slip a little based on the amount of force you're pushing. I have zero idea. You guys know, put it down in the comments, let me know, because I love that about this machine. I do. And maybe it's not supposed to be that way. Maybe something's wrong with it. I don't know. There's a little bit on the back deck here. Just that amount. Throw it in the bag. Again, this machine bags fantastic. It really does. Almost too well because it's hard to empty the bag. You really got to shake it because it gets so packed in here. So that's what it cut. I mean, I don't know if you guys can see in here, but it's like, it's packed. It's like you literally stack it in there. It's not just fluffed in there. The more it does the whole, it packs the whole thing like that. That's why it's hard to get out. But it bags really good. Really good. Do the Honda. I'm going to leave a little bit of a strip between it. We're going to do the same thing. I'm going to go forward, then I'll come back, then I'll do self-propelled. Actually, I did self-propelled halfway through, so I'll do that too. This is adjustable speed self-propelled. That's what the orange handle's for, so it's adjustable speed. Again, to start it, move the throttle up to fast. You don't need to do anything with these handles. That's it. Pull to start it, start the blade, push down on the yellow knob or button, then push forward. Blade's now engaged, you can mow. Self-propelled, you bring up this other handle. So let's go. Just pull. Easier. love that blade stop. Absolutely love it. Let's get down in there, check it out. I don't see any, maybe a straggler, maybe. I would say no. I would put the straggler cut quality of any, I better put it the same as the other. So I would say no, no issues there. Cut quality, hard to compare. I already said before that, you know, neither blade is just sharpened or anything like that, so it appears to be okay, probably about the same as the Masport. The self-propelled is okay, so I would call, yeah, I don't know I don't know if I give the winning self-propelled to, I guess based on everything that I have, I'm gonna give it to the Masport. This really makes the grass look yellow. I don't know if it's the sun. But I promise you it's not that yellow. I mean, it really looks like it's got disease or something. Maybe, yeah, no, it does look that way. But by the eyes, it does not. Maybe it does and I just can't see it. So, Masport, Honda. I didn't compare striping or anything because that stripe's better, but it's got the rear roller. It should stripe better, and it definitely does stripe better. Now, the one thing I want to do, I'm going to grab a tape measure. It's probably not going to be exactly accurate, but I do want to measure the width of the cut because to me, you know, I've always kind of complained with the Masport Rotarola with the stripe. The stripe looks narrow, so I usually double stripe. But when you cut, I usually put this tire, I usually put this tire or that tire, doesn't matter, in the tire track of the last pass. And that's how I judge everything. When you do that with the Honda, so let's just do this. Just like that. You can see the tire track there. I put that tire in that track and that's how I mow. Sometimes with the Honda, and you can see it's overlapped a lot. You can see that. It'll leave stragglers down the center. And I don't know why. I don't know what it is. So I've been cheating it over a little more. Just a little more. It's like I try to put it on the outside of the tire track and then it doesn't seem to happen. The Masport Rotarola, I don't have to do that. With the Masport, you just set that right in that tire track. You don't have any stragglers. Now, what I'm going to say, just by looking at this, these front tires are closer together, which would obviously, when you do that, it's going to move the mower deck further out because it's further out. It appears. Maybe it's not. Let's get the front tires together. Now, that could be part of it. So that one's even Steven, or real close. There you go. So that's probably why when I do that, this does it better, because the tires are just a little bit in. Because if you go center to center, when you go center to center like that, it's like 3/8 of an inch. This tire is about 3/8 of an inch in over that. That probably makes sense to why I'm able to do that. Now, I will say with my Simplicities in the past and Husqvarnas in the past that were like the Honda, I didn't have to do that. But maybe those tires were further in like this. I don't know. So that's my only complaint that I've had with the Honda. When I put those tires in the tire track going up, it will sometimes, not always, probably depending on how long the grass is, thick the grass is, if it's wet, not wet, it'll leave stragglers. So I don't know. I don't know how to rate that because I'm not sure. But head to head, right? I don't know, guys. You tell me. There could be a couple of advantages with the Honda. Definitely one advantage for sure is the blade engagement, the blade control button, where you can let that off, blade stops spinning, mower stays running, and you can go pick up whatever you want. Huge advantage, huge. That is by far the biggest advantage of the Honda to the Masport. By far. Everything else I would say is even or in the Masport's favor. The only other caveat is draining the oil. Tipping that over, I think it's going to come out way easier than this one does. It kind of lets to run down and get out. It not impossible, just not fun. Blade control, oil change. Bagging, not by much, I'm gonna say that this is a little better. No, bagging's probably pretty close because I have that halfway. And I'm not talking about what it's leaving in the lawn, just how it puts it in the bag. But that gets pretty good too. That bag's a little bigger. So bagging maybe I will put as even. You can mulch with that, but again, it can't be long. You got to mow your lawn like 3 times a week, and then you can mulch with that. This you can mulch with, well, you know what, guys? I haven't mulched, so I can't compare that. It's probably going to be the same thing though, right? But you can rear discharge off this, which should give you less clumping. By far, I keep going back to the blade control. If this had blade control, I would say winner, winner, chicken dinner. But this has blade control. 3 years old, 0 issues. 1 month old, 0 issues. So that's not really a fair comparison. Haven't had that long enough. This does roll a little easier than that. So if you're just pushing it around, not running, the Honda does roll a little easier. Striping, Masport by far outstripes the Honda. Not even as much as the blade control is a huge advantage for the Honda over the Masport, the striping is that much of a huge advantage over the Honda. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Who won? Anything stand out to you guys that's like, whoa, that's pretty cool? You tell me. Put it down in the bleep loops down below. Comment down below. Let me know. Who won? What do you think? And then why? Who won and why? What was your, hey, I like that. I like that blade control. That is sweet. I picked the Honda. I like the way the Rotarola stripes. Just take my word for it, guys. It'll be in the other video, not this one. The Masport outstripes the Honda by, that's like a level 4 striper. This is like a level 8. So it's not even close. You could add a big league roller, I think, to that. Maybe, I'm not sure. With that plastic deck, maybe you can't. I don't know. I do see a hole here. Maybe that's what that's for. I don't know. But those are expensive too. Those are what, 200 or 300 bucks. I can't pick a clear winner. There's pros, cons. The pro on this one is that blade control. Way huge. Also the filling. I like that way better. I don't know why I don't like that on the Briggs. Striping, way better. Self-propelled. I like that better. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Put it down in the comments, guys. Let me know. And I'm just curious what you guys think. As always, guys, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate your time. There's nothing more valuable than time. So taking your time out of your day or evening to watch this is greatly appreciated. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And that notification bell. I mean, why would you want to miss a video from me? Anyways, I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Adios. And the Motorola